the gum tissue with a wax-like substance.
Which is a 1400-metre sprint, and here they are now. Number one, Cut Up Rough is showing at $44. Pengulu at $7.10. Saboom is a scratching. Bazil Bay $3.20. Blazing Steel 1960. $28 for Confiscate. Pleasure Giver at $9.50. Carnelian $15.70. Buster Jones, very big tip on course at $4. Classic Day $24.70. Flak Jacket $69.80, Glass Cutter $26.50, $28.40 for Major Victory. It's got a rough chance too. Monet's Cove $21.90 and Inauguration $50.80. Right, they're the prices on race 6, the race prior to the Caulfield Cup. Melbourne's premier jockey at the moment is Greg Childs. He won his second premiership in the season just concluded. It was a big season for Greg, 1997-98, because he also rode 7 Group 1 winners. This former Kiwi has settled in beautifully in Melbourne, but I think that he thinks he deserves a little bit more recognition. Mary Gearon has got the Greg Childs story.
When trainer Peter Hurdle turns to jockey Greg Childs, 2 decades of close friendship mean many things can remain unsaid, even on this day, comprehensive race instructions.
Well, then I'll try and get over it and then steady, and then we'll try and get a bit of cover. And
you're the man, Greg. Yep, good job.
These two date back to their apprenticeship days in New Zealand. So on Turnbull Stakes Day, Hurdle handed Childs the reins of his precious Caulfield and Melbourne Cup chance Aerosmith with utter confidence.
I've virtually hardly ever given Greg instructions. I just leave it up to him and he does the business.
Set for the Turnbull, on their way now.
Hurdle actually didn't give his horse much of a chance with its bad weighting and barrier draw, but on board, his old mate produced something wondrous.
Come on, Greg! Get him, winner!
Easy.
A bit of a roll, son.
yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, he's certainly come a long way since we sent him out to the gear room to look for a left-handed whip, and he took 2 hours to try and find one, and struggled to fill out his IR12 tax return form, but he's certainly come a long way since then.
The prizes are accepted easily and often now, 2 Victorian premierships and a Scobie Breesley Award. Capping off one of Childs' finest years when he captured both the AJC and Victorian derbies. You might think these were inevitable rewards for abundant talent, especially if you believe his alleged statement last year that he was, pound for pound, the best jockey in Victoria.
How much flack have you got because of that?
I guess it's like a lot of people get nicknames, and the nickname that people say how he might have got it is not quite right. I did say pound for pound I'm equal to any of the best riders in Victoria, given the right opportunity.
Why did you feel the need to say that?
Because I was running 3rd on the premiership, this is 2 years ago, and I just felt I wasn't getting the recognition of some of the other jockeys.
Respect means much to Childs. There was a time when he received very little of it. He learnt early about the world's harsh judgments from his frustrated father.
He wanted to be a jockey, but it wasn't respected back in the 50s. And his mum and dad, my grandparents, discouraged him from doing or being involved in the stables or being a jockey. I guess I believed in myself, even at an early age. I was no good at school, like a lot of probably jockeys, and I had a lot of people, well, not knocking me, but probably because I didn't have a very good schooling through my own fault. And I had some of the teachers, they were probably using me as a scapegoat, saying, don't be like this boy here, he won't sort of make it. So I had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to be as successful as I could to prove that I can do it.
He's always been a very deep thinker, Greg, and very dedicated. He knows if you strive and work hard that you'll eventually get there, and like I say, he has got a lot of just natural ability as well.
Always mutinous, a young Childs rejected the usual career path across the Tasman and headed to America.
I was quite successful riding 7 winners at Hollywood Park, and that was my first win overseas. So I rang up my mother and said, you know, I'm an international jockey now because I won a race at Hollywood Park.
Woohoo! Hold on. Woohoo!
Now, after several prosperous campaigns across Asia, Greg is settled with his wife and former amateur rider Diane and their twins in Melbourne's outskirts. Still an independent spirit, not about to depend on any one trainer. Now he lets his actions speak in his own defence. Childs is keen to offer guidance to any self-doubting apprentice.
The advice was to believe in yourself and use common sense, and you'll go far. So that's basically that's what I did, and I'm now trying to portray that to the young jockeys. And if I got there, anyone can do it.
Greg Childs, who of course will ride Aerosmith in this afternoon's Caulfield Cup. Very good jockey, Childs. Right, in Sydney, that photo for third went to Identikit. He beat Splendid Horse for third, and if you backed him, he paid $1.60 for the place. The old stager, Identikit, grabbed third money. Right, totes are up for race 6 in Melbourne. Let's have a look at them. Starting at the top, Cut Up Rough, $43 plus. Pengulu is a bit of a tip here, $7.20. Saboom is a scratching. Bazil Bay, $3.10. $20 for Blazing Steel. $27.70 for Confiscate. $9 for Pleasure Giver. $15.10 for Carnelian. Buster Jones at $4.10. Classic Day at $25.40. Over to number 11, Flakjack at $72.90. Glass Cut at $27.40. Major Victory is at $30. Monet's Cove, $22.60. And Inauguration at $52.50. I think the bet of the day comes up in this race, the Newcastle galloper, Bazil Bay. Last start, he led them up in the $600,000 Epsom handicap at Randwick, and oh boy, I think he'd have won the race if he'd have been held up. Here he goes, steaming away in front. Simon O'Donnell was there with me that day, and Simon, after leading 5 lengths at the 800, I thought it was amazing that he was still in front with 100 metres to go.
Yeah, so did I, Ken. I mean, the run is simply enormous. He pulled, he over-raced, he did everything to cost himself the race, but he was still there with 100 to go. It was a massive effort from the horse.
Darren Beeman, I know you won't criticise a jockey, but it was just a ride, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. He just got his mouth wide open, and the jockey couldn't get the horse's head back down. But the format of that race is good, with Iron Horse going on and winning the Canberra Cup, so form's good.
All the Melbourne people tell me that Buster Jones will kick his brains in. I hope they're wrong, but Simon O'Donnell knows a bit about Buster Jones. He won here at Underwood Stakes Day.
Yes, look, his form during the spring here so far in 2 starts has been outstanding, and I mean, he's a horse with a pretty big future, I think, Buster Jones. The Freedmans have a big opinion of him. He's by a stylish Century. He won here very well, very soft win this day at Caulfield. Now, his winter form wasn't that flash. His spring form so far has been spot on.
Yeah, he certainly wasn't punished. Darren, Bazil Bay's on centre screen. How does he look to you?
He looks fabulous, this horse. He's done very well since his last run, and he's got a nice glow in his coat, and he's got Jay Cassidy on board. There's no better hands in the business than this man, so I'm sure he'll get his head down.
Well, I'm sure, I'm positive that he will. Righto, Simon, we've got one of the Johnny Hawkes horses coming up next, Confiscate.
Yeah, look, the horse looks very well, and was disappointing last start here at this track over 1,400 metres in the Vic Health. Would have to regain a fair bit of form today to be right in this finish.
Yeah, I think that they might beat him today. He's a good horse on his day, but this will test him. Confiscate, of course, is ridden there by Darren Gauci. Number 7 is Pleasure Giver, which is going to come on the screen now. Pleasure Giver beat Tycoon Lil in the Theo Marks quality at Rosehill about a month ago, Darren.
Yeah, it was a very good run. He had a soft run that day and he won. This horse is, I think this is the best he's ever looked this time in. He's turned out in brilliant order today, and he only got beaten a bit over 2 lengths by Dodge in the Epsom handicap with a nice run. So he's going to have a cushy run today from barrier 8.
Yeah, there's certainly a glow in his coat, and I don't think Simon O'Donnell would fault him either. There is number 8, Carnelian, Simon.
Yeah, look, a good winner in limited company, but beat Pengulu home by nearly half a length its last start, Carnelian. That was a little bit of a surprise, but you've got to be in with some sort of chance, particularly with Damien Oliver on his back.
Right, the next horse racing in the all grey colours is, of course, Buster Jones. And I think, Simon, you know this horse best. What do you think of how he looks today?
Yeah, look, he looks absolutely spot on. I'm sure the Freedmans will be absolutely thrilled the way he has been turned out here today. Eddie Wilkins is on board. As I said before, the stable has an enormous rap on this horse. They do expect him to win.
Surprising, but Damien's not on him. Eddie Wilkinson's on him, so he's a bit of a...
Any significance in that, Mr. O'Donnell?
Not from what I can see. I'd rather be on him.
Yeah. Yep, he looks the part. Number 10 is Classic Day. Darren, he just walked past you there. I'm sure you grabbed a look at him.
Yeah, he's a nice type of looking horse, but, you know, bit of a wishy-washy colour, but, you know, Danny Nicklick from the 2 gate, he's going to get a nice run. It wasn't a bad run last start in the Rupert Steele when he just got beat by Rebel.
OK, I'm sure there's another New South Wales-Victoria clash in the betting ring with Bazile Bay and Buster Jones. Vossi, tell us about it.
Well, Kenny, aside from those two, there's a tip in the ring for number 10, Classic Day, trained here at the track by James Riley. Now, it's a lot better value on the tote. It's half the price in the ring. The best you can do is around about 12 to 1. That's number 10, Classic Day. But of the 2 favourite pairs, Bazile Bay, bit of money now coming for it after it gone a little easy in the market. It's back into 9 to 4. That's $3.25 for the punters at home. And Buster Jones has been pretty solid all along. It is 7 to 2. It's got the dry track it wants. Let's see if the Victorians are right on the money with Buster Jones. This is the Wide Water Sports, and this is our coverage of the Caulfield Cup, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Well, I was a little bit disappointed with the barrier draw. You know, we've had a big build-up and the horse is really, really well. And although we're looking to probably draw out a little bit, 19's a long way out. And, you know, it's going to make it difficult. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, Kiwi trainer Bruce Wallace talking about Darazari, the former imported horse, and one of the big chances in the big one, the Caulfield Cup. Well, the horses are behind the barriers now for running of race 6, and this is a very interesting clash between Bazile Bay, who is a clear-cut favourite in the betting ring, still holds his place there ahead of Buster Jones. And Simon, how do they all look over there?
Well, Kenny, they all looked extremely well. They're all a little bit hot and sweaty after coming around. It's nice and warm over here, as we know. Pengulu's just walking past me, and he looks mighty fine. He's a grey. He's very forward. The 6, the Gouchers ride Confiscate. Look very well, look very fit also, Kenny. Bazile Bay, complete standout. He's just a tad dry in the coat, but geez, fit. Is he fit? And by Jose, they'll know he's in the race too by looking at him behind the gates. Pleasure Giver. He came round with the clerk of the course. He got a little upset in the wind, but he's settled down now and he looks extremely well. Buster Jones. Well, he's the dark horse, isn't he, here with Eddie Wilkinson aboard. He looked extremely well. No excuses whatsoever. As I go over the page there, Black Jacket looked okay. Glass Cutter, Major Victory was one that looked good. Kenny behind the gates also. Now we've got about 5 or 6 to move up. A couple of them still sweating up here as the Gouch goes past me on Confiscate. They all look pretty fine to me, Ken.
Thank you, Simon. Yep, they certainly do. And there is the favourite, Bazile Bay. Simon O'Donnell, a last thought.
Yeah, I thought Bazile Bay looked particularly well. And just talking to Billy Mitchell earlier, he actually gives one of his old stages, Monet's Cove, a nice little each-way chance.
Yeah, very interesting. Darren?
I'm going to go with Bazile Bay and Pleasure Giver.
Bazile Bay and Pleasure Giver, eh? Yeah.
I think the Sydney form will hold up well.
Well, I think another Sydney horse is even a good roughie with a chance, Major Victory, but I've put my cash on Bazile Bay. I think he's an exciting sprinter when he's right. He had 2 runs in Melbourne last year, one at Geelong and one at Flemington, and, well, I think he's capable of making it 3 out of 3 in the Southern State this afternoon. They're about to go. Here's Greg Miles with the call.
1,400 metres, all clears given. Off they go. Cut up rough again. Well, Classic Day was out in a hurry towards the inside with Carnelian. Major Victory into stride quickly, and Bazile Bay is going forward on the outside of Pengulu, followed by Monet's Cove. As they settle down now, and Carnelian working to the lead over Glass Cutter. Classic Day with the rail, and Bazile Bay working overtime. Caught 4 wide, going on with the leaders. Major Victory, Monet's Monet's Cove just behind them, followed by Pengulu, Cut Up Rough, a length to Buster Jones away from the speed, and then Confiscate, Flak Jacket, Inauguration, followed by Blazing Steel and Pleasure Givers back last of all by the 800 now. Classic Day on the inside, and Carnelian, the 2 leaders, 2 lengths in front of Bazille Bay third, still covering a lot of ground out 4 wide from Major Victory. Glass Cutter, and on the rails Cut Up Rough. 1 further back is Monet's Cove, followed by Pengulu, a length and a half Buster Jones, Inauguration, Confiscate, Flak Jacket, one of the last, followed by Pleasure Giver and Blazing Steel. At the turn, Carnelian over on the outside of Classic Day, both wanting to stay off the fence when they come around the turn from Major Victory. Bazille Bay, Cut Up Rough sticks to the inside when they corner, and Buster Jones has peeled out for his run in the Baldy Face. Classic Day, the leader over Carnelian. Bazille Bay can't go on. Buster Jones with the runners coming home very quickly. Buster Jones out wide has swept up and sprinted to the lead. He's away from them. Blazing Steel is rocketing home, but Buster Jones is well clear, and Buster Jones beat Blazing Steel. Bazille Bay held on well for third. Close up was Pleasure Giver, who did his best work late from Classic Day, and Flak Jacket running home well. Then Monet's Cove, followed by Carnelian. Back behind them to finish in the race was Pengulu, Cut Up Rough, followed by Major Victory, Confiscate, Inauguration, and Glass Cutter was last of all.
Yeah, well, the winner was just too good, and it gives Lee Freedman his 3rd winner of the day, 9, 5 and 4. Buster Jones, $4.60 and $1.70. 5 Blazing Steel, $4.90. And 4 Bazille Bay, who, as you heard Greg Miles say, was 4 deep for most of the race, has paid $1.60 for third. And I think it was a fine run to hang on. Here's Buster Jones. Eddie Wilkinson's looking, where have they got to? When he unpeeled, there was a fast speed, and he just killed them. You heard Lee Freedman say earlier that he's got a good opinion of this horse, and I'm sure it's not an ill-founded opinion. Here he is, he's White Blaze out in the middle of the track, and he just went crash bang wallop and was far too good. That's Blazing Steel flashing up in the green colours wide for second, and surprisingly Bazille Bay seemed to come again in the brown colours with the blue cap just to snare third prize. There's Wilkinson just looking over his shoulder as we take a head-on view of Buster Jones. He's got that acceleration, that stamp of a good horse, Buster Jones, and he just produced it today, and it was a fine win. Yep, hard to take anything away from him. Buster Jones first, Blazing Steel second, and Bazille Bay third. And from the inside, it's going to look just as impressive as he unwinds and dashes past Classic Day. And it's all Buster Jones as he steams to victory in the IGA Supermarket Stakes, a Group 3 event here on Caulfield Cup Day. Well, it mightn't have been Damien Oliver in the saddle, but this young fellow was just as effective. Eddie Wilkinson, another former Kiwi, they're taking it over from us here, and well, it was an excellent victory, and I'm sure on that win we'll see a lot more of Buster Jones in the big time. Wilkinson has eased him down now. Our man Simon Marshall is going over to him, and Simon, you take it away.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Well, by geez, he's a smart-looking individual. As I pull up to Eddie now, Eddie, you swept up to him turning for home, mate, and by the sounds of things, it was all over Beethoven.
Mate, he's awesome, this horse.
Nice.
One of the best horses I've ever ridden, mate. And I hope they find a race where he gets another lightweight for me.
Always that advantage picking up rides like this from the Freedy stable too.
Mate, Lee's done a terrific job with this horse. He's got him absolutely flying. I can't see him getting beat wherever he goes.
Let's talk about the Caulfield Cup now, Ed. Some controversy, but you've got a fine ride in Champagne.
Yeah, mate, you know, it was big controversy over this last week, but we've ended up with a beautiful ride, mate. I'm confident.
You're confident?
I'm confident.
That's all we need from Eddie Wilkinson. He's confident on Champagne. He's just won race 6 here at Caulfield. Now we'll throw to a break from the 9's Wide World of
Adjusting from the mesa.
Righto, back here at Caulfield, and we've just had some interesting information from John Bennett, the marketing manager of the VATC, who tells me that there's over 40,000 people here today, the best crowd at Caulfield on Cup Day for over 30 years. And occupying centre screen there, of course, was Buster Jones. And weight is right, incidentally, on race 6. Buster Jones, you'll hear of him again. 9, 5 and 4. 460, 170 for Buster. Blazing Steel, 490. Bazille Bay, $1.60. Okay, we go from race 6 to the big one, the Caulfield Cup, and we've got the early Caulfield Cup totes as well. $10 for Faithful Son, $52.50 for Count Chivas, $4.70 for Tie the Knot, $5.80 Yippee-I-O, $59.70 for Markham, Darazari at $60.70. No, I'm sorry, Darazari at $16.40. Fairform at $36.60. Aerosmith still favourite at $4.40. $50 plus for Torfin's Melody. The Hind at $19.20. Number 11, It's All in Fun, $34.40. Champagne $16.10. $29.50 for Jezebel. On Air $53. Pursuits $20.60. Vitronite $26.40. Von Air $87.20. And Lisa's Game at $41.10. Aerosmith still favourite, but not for long, ahead of Tie the Knot. Here's Maxie Walker.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Well, a little bit of nervous energy being expended, no doubt, in the jockeys' room as we speak. But among the trainers, Bart Cummings stand as the undisputed Cups king. Now Shane Dye is aiming to become the jockey's equivalent. This year he's claimed the premier staying events in Adelaide, Brisbane and Sydney, and he's now targeting Melbourne for what would be his first Caulfield Cup victory. After that, the Melbourne Cup, a race he won almost a decade ago on Terrific. This spring, the Group 1 specialist rates himself a very good chance aboard Tie the Knot. Amanda de Pledge reports.
Oh, I killed you. I won.
So?
7-year-old Nicholas Dye is a lot like his dad, uncompromising and fiercely competitive.
Oh, you got me.
I got you. I got Daddy.
As Nicholas enjoys his latest triumph, his dad focuses on another challenge. He's heading south to Melbourne. It's carnival time, and Shane Dye loves the thrill of spring racing.
Octagonal Mahogany coming to the line, locked together. It's a fantastic finish. Octagonal. Octagonal wins the Cox Plate about a half neck to Mahogany, who was gathered in defeat.
Pressure is in big races, and I think that's what sorts you out, and I just love getting into that pressure situation and riding an odds-on favourite in a Group 1 race, knowing I can't make a mistake in it, and I love that.
Still the leader with 100 metres left to go. Now Encounter, and the clear is coming at him. Encounter hits the front. Encounter wins from Schubert.
Last season, Shane recorded 13 Group 1 wins. His career total in Australia now 75, which puts him behind only Mick Dittman and the legendary George Moore. But the highlight of 1998 has been a stunning series of Cup victories, winning in Adelaide on the Hind, praise indeed in the Brisbane Cup, and in Sydney aboard Tie the Knot.
Tie the Knot on the outside takes a narrow lead over to Remus as they get near home, and with a huge pull in the weights, Tie the Knot will fall in.
A perfect Cup record that Shane is determined to continue when he again teams up with the Caulfield and Melbourne Cup favourite, Tie the Knot.
I don't think any jockeys won the 4 Cups, the Melbourne Cup, the 4 Group 1 2-mile races in Australia, so I'm conscious of that. But it'd be nice to win the Caulfield Cup also, there's no doubt. I haven't won a Caulfield Cup. There's lots of big races I haven't won, it's just one of them, so it'd be nice to add to the mantelpiece.
A brilliant win in the recent Group 1 Underwood Stakes suggested that Shane and his prize mount, trained by Sydney's Guy Walter, are certainly on target this spring.
Inside, here's Tie the Knot starting to storm home down the outside. It's Umrum the leader. Tie the Knot is flashing home with Jezebel. Tie the Knot out wide, grabbed them. Tie the Knot won it.
Well, he got back a bit that day. It was an outstanding win, there's no doubt about that. He settled back. They got away from him at the half mile, but then he got back on the bit, and I just pulled him out at the top of the straight, and he was just too good. He was just awesome.
A half length on Mike and Power, about 4 to Juggler, 3/4 Tie the Knot, then Soldash Castle.
For many months now, Shane has been planning his spring campaign, meticulously researching form while dealing with an inundation of offers from trainers and owners. Unlike many other top-class jockeys who rely on managers to handle their negotiations, Shane Dye rides solo.
I like my own destiny, and I think managers are good for a lot of jockeys, but one wouldn't be able to help myself. I like to do my own work, select my own horses and watch all the videos. There's no doubt managers do help jockeys, but I don't think one could help myself.
Few would question his decision to commit to Tie the Knot following his promising form as a 3-year-old last season, including victory in the Spring Champion Stakes and Rosehill Guineas. Even 2 months ago, Shane predicted a big performance come spring.
Well, he's ran second in 2 derbies, and derbies as a 3-year-old's always good form for a Caulfield Cup, there's no doubt about that. 2,400 metres is a perfect distance for him. He's come back beautiful. I don't think he was seasoned as a 3-year-old. In saying he's not seasoned, he wasn't tough and hard fit, whereas a horse like Gold Guru was as a 3-year-old. And I think Tie the Knot still got improvement in him, and we saw what he did in the Warwick Stakes. Now, if he keeps that improvement up, come Caulfield Cup time, he's a horse they've all got to beat.
Brave Prince in front, Tie the Knot knuckling down, is charging. Tie the Knot is going a shade the better, and Tie the Knot.
Darren Beedman was convinced that Tie the Knot, even as a raw 3-year-old, possessed the qualities of a future Caulfield and Melbourne Cup champion. So he worked hard on teaching him to settle and relax over the longer distances. Shane Dye inherited the ride when Darren retired, and the former hoop couldn't resist a dig following Shane's success in this year's Rosehill Guineas.
I just thought you were going to just time him run a little bit too late, but you just got there in the nick of time.
Well, I'd watched a lot of tapes this morning of him, and I saw how you found the line very well in the Spring Championship Stakes.
Do you watch tapes, do you?
I watched it,
tapes.
and I thought your ride that day was very, very patient and very good. And I realised, I said, now I've got to do the same as Darren. Do the same. Go out there. Do it, Shane. Be like Darren. And I was.
I guess that was probably one of the hardest things, that being retired and still knowing that you would have been on those horses probably the next season after I retired, and exactly like Tie the Knot had so much potential, and he was only just starting to really mature into a nice horse, and he had plenty of scope for improvement. And then, like always, Shane comes along and gets the cream.
If he is successful in Melbourne, what will you say to Shane Dye?
I'll be the first one to congratulate him, but you know, he'll probably always have some smart remark, as usual.
Darren Beedman on tape with Amanda Depledge and cracking jokes about Shane Dye. Darren's now with Tie the Knot's trainer, Guy Walter.
Thanks, Kenny. We're down here in the stalls with Tie the Knot and Guy Walter, the trainer. Guy, he looks great, the horse. He's nice and relaxed, and he looks to be at home here.
Yes, very travelled in well, Darren, and he's very relaxed as he was on Underwood Stakes Day. And we couldn't have asked for a better preparation, really. It's been trouble-free, so all he wants now is a bit of luck.
Yeah. He's done well since his last start at Flemington.
Done extremely well, Darren. And he's had plenty of work and coped with it very well since, and we're extremely happy with him.
Who's coping better, you or the horse?
I think he might be, Darren. I think I'd be sweating if I was a horse.
Well, that's good. And the owners are down here with you today?
Yes, Sandy and Kathy Tate and Jill Neverson's here, and all the families, and you know, having bred the horse and raced his mother, and to see him here today, favourite or equal favourite, you know, for a Caulfield Cup, it's a big day for them, of course.
It must be a big thrill for you to be able to have a runner like this and the favourite for the Caulfield Cup.
Oh, it certainly is. It's every trainer's dream, really, Darren, and you know, just to a magnificent horse like him, you know, it's an honour to be associated with him, really. Yeah.
Well, all the best today, Guy, and I hope you get the chocolates.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you.
Well, Kenny, as you can see, Tie the Knot down here is nice, cool, calm and collected. Back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Darren. Guy Walter, the boy from Gulgong. He learnt his trade with 2 stints working for Bart Cummings, and Bart Cummings tells me that he's a good trainer, and that's as good a nod of approval as you can get. Righto, a break coming up, and then we'll be back as interest hots up for the big one on the Wide World of Sport.